Hello and welcome to the Film School Chronicle, your wire right to the heart of the student film scene of Brisbane, Australia. I'm your host, Bryce Quinn, and joining me today is my co-host, Carmelo Keating. How are you, Carmelo?
I'm doing pretty good, Bryce. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. And our guest, Michael Olive, co-producer on Smile, the series. How are you, Michael?
Yeah, I'm good.
Excellent. Yeah, how's everyone going this morning? Having a good morning?
Yeah, tired.
You look a bit tired, man.
Yeah, well, Carmelo said yesterday, I saw him around the place. I saw him at uni.
We saw each other at uni, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like walking past, and I just watched 2 episodes of The Sopranos in the library, and all I wanted to do was go home and watch more Sopranos. But Carmelo was like, "You look like you're dead," and then I was like, "Yep, okay."
Thanks, man. Thank you.
I figured it was because of like all the work on TVC and stuff like that.
No, that's going quite well.
That's going
yeah. No, we're actually fine. Yeah, it's because I'm not getting enough sleep.
Well, we've brought you here today to talk about Smile, the series. So can you give us a bit of an overview about that?
Yeah. So Smile is a 6-part web series. The aim was to be between about 6 to 8 minutes long per episode, and then distribute on a digital streaming platform. Right at the moment, we're in post-production, and we're finishing the fine cuts of episode 2 and then doing sound design for that. The whole post process is taking about 13 weeks so far. The show is about a young girl named Faith who's just turned 18. Her family is strange, oddly religious, but not really. She sort of starts to figure this out when she turns 18, because she's just not like other girls, and her family doesn't treat her as other families treat their daughters. This is compounded by the fact that her relationship with her father is strange.
Interesting and very ominous.
Yes.
So, has it been working on a horror series? It is a horror, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So it's a horror thriller. It works off the principle of the A Final Straw Girl, where basically, like, sort of like Carrie, and like just a female protagonist that has been beaten so badly over the course of her life that there's just one last thing that happens, and then we see the snap. And we're encouraged as an audience to root for this character, as she usually kills a lot of people.
Yeah, interesting. Wow.
And then maybe or maybe not, she goes too far.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I like leaving it open-ended. Awesome.
So you're how many weeks into post-production?
We're a third week into a 13-week post-production.
Okay.
13 weeks.
Yeah, it's pretty common for a web series of this length. So you think about it in terms of like a week to get from rough cut to fine cut, and then the next week sound design can work on that episode while you're working on the next one, and then once we finish the first 3 episodes, we're looking to enter it into festival runs. Most of the festival runs take submissions until about June.
Right.
And we're looking to submit it both as the first 3 episodes of a web series, or recut it as a short film for the first 3 episodes as well. Yeah, so my producer, Xanthi, who's lovely, she's a master's student. She's doing this as her exegesis. So she's finished her exegesis, which is thesis for film.
I like that word. It's a very cool word.
You'll never hear it again. It's and then this is her sort of proof of that exegesis.
Right. Cool.
Play out that.
Yeah. Awesome. Could you tell us a bit more about, who wrote the script, who's the director for it, who's the kind of key creatives involved?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so Xanthi is writer-producer of it, and our director is Natalie Simov. I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that last name. Simonov, I think, actually.
Right.
And she was great. She was incredibly flexible, really clear vision. and it was half of my job to try and make sure that she didn't put too much pressure on herself, because she really wanted it to be good, and she did a great job. It was great having Xanthi as producer and writer, because if Natalie had an issue with the script or something, it was just talk to the producer, and the producer wrote it as well. So
yeah, it's not really a combo I've heard very much of, writer producer.
No, it's a little bit different. It's a lot of behind the scenes work. And like Xanthi will say herself that she's never really operated on camera, and she just doesn't know the tech. But that's why we got Chase as our DOP. Chase Brockett. She's a recently graduated Griffith graduate, as well as the director Natalie, and she's incredibly talented. She did a short film called Yowie for the Wyndon trip to, I forgot, is it Winton?
Oh, Winton?
Yeah, Winton. Yeah.
Just for those who don't know, the uni we attend, which we're now allowed to talk about, Griffith University. Not that I shouldn't say now allowed to talk about, but we got explicit permission, so that's good. They do some overseas trips and some trips to the Outback, and one of the places they go to is Winton. And so all sorts of fun stuff happens there, and I hope we get the chance to go. That'd be pretty awesome. But
I hope so too.
But so they got to go out to Winton and film out there.
So Chase got to go out to Winton, and she did cinematography for a short they did there called Yowie, which is based off of a cultural boogeyman for indigenous peoples.
Right. Have you heard of Yowie?
Yowies, no, I definitely have.
So my stepdad goes on about Yowies all the time. Every time we go camping, he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna run into Yowies this time for sure." Yeah. I'm like, "What are you on about?"
Yes. I'm actually from like Western Queensland, not nearly as far out as Winton, but there's a town within a few hours drive of Chinchilla, which is where I'm from. I think it's Yarraman or somewhere in that area, and there's actually like a statue of a Yowie, like a hand carved wooden one. That's pretty famous for that reason.
Every time Carmelo walks past, I don't know what that is, but it's cool.
Yeah.
No, I had a question. Damn it, I just lost it. Oh, is there going to be Yowies in the show? No. Surely, after all this Yowie talk. Okay.
No Yowies in the show.
But
there are some very strange men in the show. Okay. And we filmed in several locations. There's the main location was at West End, in this house location that we got permission to shoot in. It's sort of ambiguous with time setting of the show, so you don't see a laptop, or you see a phone, but it's sort of like
an old school phone,
No, I think it is a smartphone,
okay.
but like I guess if you had to place it, it would be around mid 2000s.
Okay.
But it's really meant to be ambiguous. I think we did quite well doing that.
Did your production designer have a rough go of that?
No, she was great. Yeah. There was a lot of op shop hunting. As you'd imagine. Yeah. Because we had to dress the cast as like a little bit chaste, because they're from a religious background.
Right.
We bought some like 90s from Best and Less, so that looked good, and there was a lot of like 60s style dresses for Peggy, who plays the mother. Well, right. Who is the mother? Sorry, yeah. Peggy's the character. Jules, who plays Peggy, did such an amazing job. She learnt so much of the Bible by heart.
That's amazing.
Is that a first time like learning that sort of
thing?
So wow, okay.
Yeah. She from what I gather, she's not very religious, Jules. But she loved that a lot of the Bible passages we picked for Peggy to sort of recite and be indoctrinated in is like very very much feeds into her character.
What a sick thing just to be able to drop sometimes. Just like
know,
a mad
right?
passage
Yeah.
from the Bible.
Yeah,
just to scare the crap out of people, yeah.
What's the one from
Pulp Fiction?
Pulp Fiction. Yeah.
Yes.
There's one passage which is incredibly important that she's trying to justify something. Doing something.
We'll catch her. We've got 20 minutes together.
Yeah,
we'll
you're
catch
right.
her.
She's trying to justify doing something, and she looks through, and it's really good because of course the Bible has a lot of contradictions, and she's trying to find that one passage that tells her you can do this thing even though that thing is wrong.
Interesting. So does the show play with those kinds of themes of like
it does a
religious conflicts? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Something to do with morality, I guess.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, sorry,
lot,
religious
like,
contradiction.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit.
Okay.
It's more like it plays with the notion of being holy and how basically any religious or spiritual family can become cultish if pushed in the wrong direction,
Right.
especially
Yeah.
by a patriarchal figure.
So do you know much about the background of that script? Like where's things coming
so,
from?
Xanthi has been working on that script for about 2 years now. She originally worked off of the myth of the Gorgon, like Medusa is a Gorgon, where Medusa was a beautiful woman, and because she was so fair and beautiful, she was raped by Poseidon, and Athena then cursed Medusa because Athena was into Poseidon, and Athena granted her this curse of the snake heads and abilities to turn men into stone. The thing that Xanthi played with was the idea that might not have been a curse. That might have been an empowerment of Medusa. But over time, like, the story was warped to be more like a curse.
Yeah, I've read a bunch of similar stuff trying to flip the kind of writing intention behind that myth, because it is a really interesting myth of Medusa, and the kind of
It also just goes completely against like morality, like what you think.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Like,
Like,
it's like
if she's like the victim in
Yeah,
that situation,
and-
why is she cursed?
yeah. So.
Yeah. And yeah, just like the origins of that myth and who wrote it, because obviously it's the men who wrote that myth, and then you go back now with like the lens of the modern age and you have a look at it and you reanalyze it, and it's like, okay, what if there's like a bit more to look at here? So it's really
Just
interesting
could
to
be
hear.
very easily adapted to
Yeah.
be.
It's interesting to hear that she took that and ran with it and converted that to a modern religious story.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So it's Faith, our main actress, Cam. She was brilliant.
Can we get the full name of that one?
Cam Surak.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
SURRASCURRAH.
Maybe we'll catch it in the credits.
Again, I'm very sorry.
I'm sure it's fine. Just so we can promote some, because it's the lead actress.
Yeah,
right?
of course. Yeah. No, please. She was incredible. She studied in the US. Had to come back because of COVID.
Right.
And
I was lucky she got back.
Yeah, found us. She did the table read before she went over to the US for a little bit again.
Mm-hmm.
And I came onto the project around about a little bit before December last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was working on I was a post-production assistant on a documentary film by Trish Lake, who's a producer for Freshwater Pictures in Brisbane.
Wow.
She produced a film called Love Opera. Which recently won at the Australian Australian, I think it's Australian International Film Network.
Oh, cool.
Screen Awards. But she basically called out. I talked to a lecturer at Griffith, and asked her if there was anything going around, like if she knew anyone that needed help on a production or a set or anything, and she said, well, I know Trish Lake, she's a very busy producer, she might use your help. Trish Lake basically interviewed me. It was really strange. It was like I was interviewing for a job that I didn't know what the job was. She just wanted to judge my character basically for like 30 minutes. She was grilling me.
Awesome.
Over Zoom.
That's awesome to hear about. I'd hate to be there.
It was fine. Like she was just trying to know more about me in a very short space of time because she's very busy. But then I did some packaging for her, and that's where I met Xanthi.
Right.
Because Xanthi is also a much larger role as a production assistant for Trish Lake in multiple projects. We got to talked about horror, and I said that I haven't followed horror very much. And before film school, I didn't really like horror.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, okay. Well, do you want to come on my horror?" and
you sound perfect for my horror series.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went.
Yeah, look. To be fair, I don't watch that much horror either. But I guess that like going into making a horror series without having any like preconceived ideas of what horror is meant to be, and like nothing else to sort of blur your vision, you could come in with seemingly more original sort of things to contribute.
Yeah, like you'll find that when you come onto set, even if you haven't like worked in that sort of genre, you'll understand what elements are in there. Like our gaffer, oh my god. There's so many people working on this.
Apologies to the gaffer.
Yeah, oh my god. He's Natalie's boyfriend as well.
For now, we'll refer to him as the gaffer.
The gaffer.
Oh.
If it comes back to you, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. He was great. Setting up a HMI took him like 5 minutes. It was crazy.
HMI, I'm not familiar with that one.
It's a I think we had the 12K light, so it's light like this big.
Wicked.
My hands are very wide apart.
we haven't got video going yet, so we've got about a big light.
It's a big light, and it needs its own inverter.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a pain to set up usually, and it needs its own stand. But a lot of the lighting that he ended up doing for it was typical for horror, even though he hadn't watched a lot of horror, because it's like the sort of Rembrandt lighting, but also like shadow nearly across all the face and in some scenes and stuff like that, where you can still see the action. It was good.
So yeah, you were talking about how you walk on the set, you just kind of get like the general vibe of everything. So you got the gaffer, he's doing his stuff. So I'm assuming the production design was a similar kind of thing. And
yeah, she our production designer was on set very often. She was basically there more than anyone else, other than like Xanthi and Natalie and Chase.
Doing the classic production designer thing, just straightening things, making sure it's all in the right place.
Yeah, we did have continuity in Ainsley Hunter, who came on a little bit later, and she was very good. She filled up her phone with with video of the monitor because she had to play back from them to get specific continuity and stuff. But so I was talking before about the different locations. I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
So we had the house location, which is where most of the series is shot at. Then we had the graveyard location, or the Twong Cemetery.
Yeah, I did want to ask about that because I saw back when you guys were shooting last year, that was posted across the social medias, and I recognized that cemetery, and I'm just like, that's a brilliant location.
It was really good. We also had it in the daytime too, which is a good. The Twong Cemetery closes at 6 p.m, so it's a little bit harder to get it at nighttime. But we enjoyed shooting there in the daytime because it was written like that in the script, and it contributed to Faith's character in that it was very peaceful. and she goes there to be alone. She meets some teenagers who are walking through the graveyard to get somewhere else. And through that she realizes more and more that she just can't talk to other teenagers her age because she's been raised so closeted.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That was a good set.
No, I was going through your Instagram and everything, just trying to do a bit of research, trying to do my job. And I noticed the crew is just huge. There's just so many crew headshots. How was it working with such a crew that big?
A lot of my role as the co-producer was scheduling and emailing, making sure there was clear communication, because with that many people, each one of them needs to know what's going on and needs to know that that this is still happening.
Right.
It's almost like you need to remind them every week that this is still happening, and we're still
project
working
still
on
exists.
It. Yeah,
don't forget about it.
Yeah, basically, it's like even if you haven't heard from us in a few days, it's because we've been working on it.
Yeah. So do we have a number for how big the crew is, in total?
I think in total it got to 27.
Is that including cast?
No.
Oh, wow.
It's not including cast. Yeah. So with cast it got to, because we have the choir members as well. We our composer David, again a hard last name, Normally.
It's so hard to interview with all these tricky really last names.
Yeah. He just finished at the con, and wanted to work on films and stuff, and he talked to Xanthi about our main song choice is Are You Washed in the Blood of the Lamb? And to get something like that, even though it's out of copyright, you need to recompose it. So because you can't use another person's composition because again copyright rule.
Yeah, right.
So David did that composition for us. He did several of that, and then he's doing some other musical elements in the coming weeks. But it was great having the choir there. They do a very dirgy replication of it, and then the start opens with a very hymn-like and angelic version.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Sounds like it'll really evoke that mood, that whole religious vibe.
Yeah.
But I think that'll bring us to the end of the show today. Unless we've got any closing comments, questions, anything like that.
No, I think it's been quite good. I've enjoyed Michael telling us what he's able to tell us about Smile, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you can find Smile the series at smile.theseries on Instagram and on Facebook. Give us a follow on Facebook. A follow on Instagram, like on Facebook. But
yeah, so you can follow the production for the next 13 weeks, was it? Or 12
yeah,
weeks?
13 weeks
until it's available for viewing. Is it going to be posted on YouTube, or is it just for festivals?
At the moment, we're looking to get it distributed through a film aggregator.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes. So it could potentially be on Amazon Prime or. Looking at there's a few options. There's a few options for digital distribution, but if we can't get it onto one of those, then it'll be YouTube and maybe Vimeo.
All right, well, we'll have to get you back on to see how everything goes. And make sure people can watch it and everything.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But for now, thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thanks guys. Yeah.
And thanks Carmelo for being my co-host.
Thanks Bryce, and thank you very much Michael.
And thank you listeners for listening. This has been the Film School Chronicle, and until next time, thank you very much.